owes. Something other cash-strapped cities in California could also try to do to deal with their ballooning debt. In fact, this could have potentially national relevance, as last year unfunded pensions across this country equaled more than $4 trillion. Judge Andrew Napolitano is a Fox News senior judicial analyst, and this is so unusual because normally if you're a company, you declare bankruptcy, you can liquidate your assets and sell them off one by one.
Right.
Stockton can't go selling City Hall.
Right.
So it's strange when you see a city declare bankruptcy.
Right. When you and I were in law school, in my case in the Middle Ages, the professor said, what happens if the government declares bankruptcy? The students probably would have laughed. It was just unthinkable. It just doesn't happen. Somehow there'd be an increase in tax revenue or some sort of a bailout. I don't know what's going to happen now. Stockton is the beginning of a very, very long train. Stockton owes over $200 million to the people who lent it money for its everyday operations, its bondholders, and it owes over $900 million, almost $1 billion, to the California state pension system. This city only has 300,000 people that live there, and not all of them own real estate, and not all of them pay taxes.
They can't afford that.
So where is the money going to come from?
One of the reasons they found themselves in that predicament we discussed with Stu Varney yesterday was you could work for the city for any short period of time, an unspecified short period of time, and get a lifetime pension for you plus a dependent. I mean, you work for a year and pension for life?
Stuart is correct. This is reprehensible what the politicians did in order to get votes. How do they get votes? By giving these lavish deals to people who will continue to vote to keep them in office. They either never thought they'd run out of cash, or they thought that the cash would run out not on their watch. They also, of course, wrote laws that would benefit themselves, because the politicians making these laws would themselves become pensioners someday. So these pensions are lavish, generous, and non-contributory. It all comes from the taxpayer. It's all well and good when you make the promise, and it sounds great. Let's help our firefighters. We want them to be taken care of. We want our police officers to be taken care of. But if the paper is not worth, if the deal is not worth the paper it's printed on, then it's not so great. And not just that, but now the citizens of Stockton, Judge, they've had to cut down health benefits, they've had to slash unemployment, they've had to renegotiate some of these labor deals, and they're saying they had to cut library and recreation funding. They've been cut in half. They've scaled down police department presence. That now the police department only responds to emergencies in progress, and the city crime rate is among the highest in the country right now, according to the Associated Press. This is a direct response, a direct reaction, a causal relationship to the profligate ways that the people who ran this city a generation ago and even up to the present time have been running it. What happens if this spreads beyond Stockton? Well, it will spread. You mentioned in your promo of this segment that members of Congress, Congressman Chaffetz in Arizona, has estimated, with backup from the Congressional Budget Office, that the total unfunded liability of state and local governments for their pensions, that's pension payments they must make, which they do not now have, is in excess of $4 trillion. So this Stockton bankruptcy is the first car in a very, very long train. Where is all this going to go? Probably to Washington. Stockton can't print cash. Washington can. But when it prints that cash, when it borrows money from the Federal Reserve, which essentially creates the cash out of thin air, it just pushes this burden to future generations of Americans, in most cases as yet unborn. It's the Stossel clip. It is the Stossel clip that we showed last hour. We've showed it many times again. This is the plan. This is the backup plan, just in case we run out of pension money. John Stossel foresaw it all. Here it is. Watch it.
Well, I need this, you know, and I need this, and I'm going to take this, and no, I'm the old person. I need this. You have to take care of me. I want it. It's mine.
Now, John is a genius.
He is the foreseer of all.
Correct. I mean, he is explaining in a basic, fundamental way that even children can understand what the government is doing to us, what the government will do to your child as yet unborn. And it is reprehensible, it's immoral, it's not authorized by the Constitution, it ought to be criminal, and this is what they've saddled us with. Where are they going to get the $4 trillion? Most of the recipients of that $4 trillion are honest, hardworking people who planned their lives expecting to receive it.
They believed the deal.
Correct.
They believed the deal.
It's not going to be there.
Judge Naps, thank you for being here. Judge
Pleasure.
Napolitano. Sorry, that's his little nickname internally.
Naps is fine.
Thank you, my friend.